How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the San Jose Sharks franchise mode, episode number 13, headed into the second half of year number 4, the 2025-26 regular season. Hope that you all had a wonderful holiday season. This is our first upload of the 2023 calendar year for franchise mode. Hope that you've been following along and enjoying the hockey card content, the Connor Bedard career simulation that just went up the other day. It's been a fun time, but we're back to franchise mode, and in the last one, we had some poor performances from a lot of our stars. Connor Bedard's been turning it around here in his third season, but, he had 44 goals last season. He's been doing better in the last 10, 15 games or so. He was really slipping at one point. Now he's on pace for an 86-point season. That's much better, but goal-scoring-wise, we've been needing more from him. He's not our biggest issue, though. It's been the goaltending. Our tandem of 86 and 85 overall, Samsonov and Ullmark respectively, both have sub-900 save percentages, and they're both allowing over 3 goals against per game on average. So the goaltending has been a major issue. We've been having success despite it, but we could be doing a lot better if we could just plug those holes right now. And we have a lot of thoughts headed into the second half of this season because we want to be contenders. We want to try and push for a cup with Logan Couture, Erik Karlsson before those contracts have to move on. At the moment, we are second in the Pacific Division. Our record is 22-15-4. We're on pace for a 44-win season. That's all great, but we want to do more than just a playoff berth. We want to go on a deep run. So to do that, there may be some changes that we have to make to the squad right now. The assistant general managers had a lot to say in the comments section since we had a long time between episodes. Pavel Buchnevich in his first season with us, point per game, that's great. Tomas Hertl, almost point per game, that's great. But a lot of other names, maybe not ones that we need a ton from, but there's a lot of other names falling off, like Rodin, our sixth overall pick in 2024, offensive defenseman, doing amazing stuff in Europe, scoring 40 points in 52 games in the SHL. Only 7 points, -11 in 36 games over here. Oscar Lindblom, I don't need the world from him, but only 2 goals and 6 points, on pace for 4 goals and 12 points on the year. Like, those are the types of performances where we can't allow our depth to be slipping that far. If you were to ask me, I think it's the goaltending that we need to fix a little bit over here. We've given Samsonov a lot of chances, but with some goalies in the block and a lot of suggestions from the assistant general managers, we'll see what fate has in store for him this episode. So starting off with those goalie thoughts, Vinny left a comment in the last one saying we might have to try a whole new goalie tandem for the second half of the season because both of the Sharks goalies have been absolutely horrific. There are some good options, but you have to keep in mind that no one would probably want to trade for these goalies because of their performance. Absolutely. Any team that we trade one or both of our goalies to would have to be a team that wants them. I wouldn't try to trade Samsonov and or Ullmark to any team that didn't have the desire for them when you highlight over their name. So thank you for those thoughts, Vinny. Next comment coming from Maurice, who, long story short, thinks that if we were to target a goaltender, Lucas Dostal or Stuart Skinner would be good options since they're young and have low value. Also, Guryanov and Strome over on Seattle, super cheap contracts but higher trade value. And if we need a defenseman to try and solidify the D, Brett Pesce on the block in Montreal, 2 years left on his deal, would be a good option for us. So, Maurice, I think those are some of the strongest player suggestions that we could go after. If the trade value could work, that's very tempting for me right now. Cheating Heel says that was a bummer of a start of the season, but at least we've got back on track lately. Let's put it on the new coach and system that the players had to learn. I'm okay with that if they can turn it around. Cheating Heel goes on to say that maybe the step into the NHL may have been a bit too big right now for Rodin. We might want to explore putting him into the AHL and getting Kniazev in the lineup as he's been doing very well. If we need more cap space to do trades, let's send Vlasic elsewhere now that we know someone is willing to take him. There have been teams sending us trade offers. If we don't need the cap space, I say we keep him one last year in case we win the cup and he finally retires as a champ. That would be quite a story, absolutely. We do need more punch up front, especially if we get injuries in the playoffs. Some of the guys on Seattle are interesting, just as Maurice said. There's also maybe a guy like DeBrusk, but I haven't seen his stats. I'll pull those up in a moment. Also wouldn't mind a guy like Pacioretty as a 12th or 13th forward who can bring offense. It would also be another good story if we win with him, as he was drafted by the Canadiens with San Jose's pick in that classic Craig Rivet trade where they also got Josh Georges, one of the Canadiens' best trades of all time. Lindblom is one of my deceptions. Great overall, but no production, and isn't doing much on the special teams either, the whole reason why we have him. He's another one that can go, especially if we need cap space in a trade. Cheating Heel goes on to leave some thoughts about Karlsson and Couture and the leadership group, and those are all things we'll think about in the very near future, actually. At the start of the series, we were thinking a few years down the road. That's kind of where we are now. In the very near future, we're going to have to consider those things. Go Sharks, and Happy New Year to GM Data and all the assistant GMs. Hope everyone is enjoying spending quality time with their loved ones. A very kind comment. Thank you, Cheating Heel. And we added some more discussion in the follow-up comments. I like what he finished off by saying that in terms of the goaltending. At this point, moving on from one or two of our goalies might not be a bad idea. Worst case, we end up with someone that has similar numbers but costs less money. Best case, we solve our problem. Not much risk in exploring that avenue. Next comment coming from Gen Z McKenzie, loving the level of involvement we're getting in this one after there's a lot to say headed into the second half. Maybe trade for Brett Pesce and Lucas Dostal to improve the defense and goaltending respectively. Trading for Pesce would be a big boost defensively, as I think he has a lot of good defensive X factors. Actually, I don't think he has any, unfortunately, but we could always add some. And he seems to be the best and cheapest top 4 defenseman on the block. And doesn't have too many years on his contract like the other top 4D in their 30s have. If you trade for Pesce, you might have to trade out Ferraro or send down Rodin. Getting Dostal makes sense. Columbus has an 82 overall 26-year-old Danil Tarasov in the AHL. Both of our goalies are currently really bad, and Dostal is young enough and good enough to compete for the starting job now and into the future. Don't go after UPL as he can't play this season. We don't know what kind of money he'd be asking for. With Dostal, he's fairly cheap and young, can still grow with another season after this one, and if it doesn't work out, you can trade him and maybe get something decent back. If it does, you have a starting caliber goaltender for only 3.49 mil going into next season. If we trade for Dostal, you might have to trade away Samsonov to make the team cap compliant, absolutely. Also, you do not need to trade for a top 6 forward because the top 6 is already elite. So I think if we traded for any forward, it would probably be like a third line guy, especially if Lindblom is moving out. But very good thoughts. Love the research in that one. Much appreciated, Gen Z McKenzie. Hawkeye the second left their first comment. Hi Data, first time commenting. Welcome to the AGM booth. Had to throw in my 2 cents in there talking about the defense. I think the team needs another solid defensive defenseman to play on the right side next to Rodin. Similar to how we've had Esa Lindell next to Erik Karlsson. As looking at his plus minus, no matter who he plays next to, he seems to be struggling. So we see Pesce, Carrier, Falk, Parayko, all guys who are good defensive pieces and could also help the goaltending issue, benefiting both Samsonov and Allmark. Therefore, hitting 2 birds with 1 stone in theory. Unfortunately, I think the goaltending has been a bigger issue than just the first half of this season. So, yeah, we'll get into the goaltending after. But just a thought, but something I think would help the team now and possibly benefiting Rodin's potential development. Hopefully, the team can build on the first half of the season and improve to ready itself for a long playoff run. Go Sharks. Thank you for leaving that first-time comment. Very well thought out. There are also a couple of comments that raise the point that we don't have a goalie coach right now. Louis says, hypothesis here, but maybe the goaltending is not doing what they're supposed to do because there's no goalie coach in this system. Pat also mentioned that in his comment later on, but at the start he says, I seriously think Kochetkov would be a bunch of fun. Another goaltender who's not on the block, but would be in excess. It's a team that has 3 goalies, and Anaheim, I believe. In reality, I think we've seen enough evidence that goaltenders absolutely do not matter in NHL franchise mode. It's unfortunate, but there is too much evidence that any 80-plus overall goalie sims basically the same. Teams seem to have more goaltender consistency in simulation than the players themselves, which means it's determined more by coaching and or position players. It's a waste of cap space to ever spend more than $3 million on your goaltending 10, according to Pat. I strongly recommend using the cap where it can benefit you elsewhere. I would absolutely dump both goalies at earliest convenience and pick up some fun names or grab the tallest, cheap goalie available, or any with X factors for live gameplay moments. In storyline, it would absolutely make sense to cut bait on one or both tenders by the deadline. They have simmed beyond terribly. Also, do you have a goalie coach? And is there focus on goaltending? I feel silly asking, but you have let that slip before. Yes, honestly, I did it on purpose because I appreciate having the flexibility when I have to play musical chairs with the coaches. I usually keep at least one spot on my staff empty so I can move people around where needed. But yes, I did leave it empty, and maybe it matters, Pat says. There has to be a reason that the goalies in this franchise mode are simming so consistently poorly. So with all those comments digested, thank you to everyone who took the time to write one. Always take the time to reply, but I can't always get to them in video. This was already a long enough intro, I think, with those larger comments. But it's a good point. I would not mind at least looking at every avenue that we have not yet explored, and getting a goalie coach is one of those avenues. But for example, you want to hire a goalie coach, but the guy says, I want to be an NHL assistant coach. So let's find a goalie who has high teaching. Seems like this is the guy, actually. We could go for BB, teaching and coach influence, or A minus, C minus. I'm going for A minus, C minus. This goalie coach, Nicholas Okposo, Kyle Okposo's dad, got behind the bench. Let's see if he would be willing to sign on. If not, we'll have to play some musical chairs, but just throw him an 8-year deal as a goalie coach. 8 years, $800K per season. How about that for a nice little retirement at the age of 58? I also sent out an offer to an AHL associate coach, so we'll see if those two coaches want to sign on. I also won't get into these comments, but I'm Sean Avery and Red Boy left a couple talking about X factors that we hadn't really touched upon too much, but we wanted to get them a bit more accurate to their actual real-life playing style. So for William Eklund, I took off Send It and added Magnetic and Spinorama. And for Eric Carlson, I took off Third Eye, there he is, and I added Send It. So not really, only Eklund got one extra X factor. Eric Carlson still with one zone ability and two X factors. So just making it a bit more accurate to the real life play style. But all that being said, I do have a lot of, I think at least 3 moves in mind at the moment. I'm not sure if I want to do any or all of them right now. I think I'm going to hold off on one, but there's 2 others that I really want to make. So the first one would be acquiring a new goaltender, and that means we have to move out Ilya Samsonov or Linus Ullmark. I know we're about to get a new goalie coach and everything, but Samsonov has just burned me enough, and as Pat said, it's too much money for goaltending in this random EA world where goaltending doesn't really matter. 2 seasons with us through, 55 plus 20 minus 3, 72 games that he's played with us. He has 37 wins, a sub 900 save percentage, and still, about 3+ goals against average. He has not worked out for us at all here in San Jose. So moving on from Samsonov and his $5 million cap hit would be a solid idea in my opinion. And I believe I did a little research on which team would want him. The Calgary Flames are the only team that want him and can afford him. They have 2 goaltenders who are lower overall and on expiring deals, so it makes sense why they would want a starting goaltender moving into the future. And I don't want to take back any money. I don't want to take anything. I just want draft picks because that's going to help facilitate our next trades. Now the question is, what can I get for Ilya Samsonov? Could I get 2 second-round picks? The value seems to be there. Not quite, but I think it's pretty close. Could I do Montreal's 2nd this year and your 4th and a 5th next year? Sweeten it just a touch. So let's change that 5th to a 6th. And that'll likely happen. We'll probably be seeing Samsonov in the future, being in the Western Conference, but whatever, just honestly good riddance. It wasn't a great relationship between the 2 of us. I wish you all the best, but not going to work here, Ilya. On behalf of the Calgary Flames organization, I accept your trade offer. We'll see you out on the ice. Thank you very much. All right, so let's just quickly fix this. I think we have to just call up a goalie, but we're about to go acquire a new one. I've been thinking about which one makes the most sense. It comes down to Dostal, Kochetkov, and Skinner. Now, Kochetkov, he has a great story. He's really hot in the real world. I could see the story being that he left Carolina, came to another team, never quite got his shot. He's in the AHL right now. If he still had elite potential, I think I'd go for it. But he's an 81 overall at 26 years of age. A really cool name to get. But his numbers aren't even that great in the AHL, and he won't grow much more. I'm looking for a guy who could battle to be a starter. Kochetkov just screams backup at them and never getting any better, unfortunately. So Kochetkov, while the name sounds great, he's going to be elite in the real world. Here in 2026 and AHL 23, he's an 81, stuck to kind of be a low 80 overall for his entire career. So personally, for me, it comes down to Skinner and Dostal. For Stuart Skinner, he's in the AHL as an 83 overall. His numbers aren't amazing. A 901 save percentage in the AHL, it's a bit concerning. His other, he's never been really above 900 save percentage. 83 overall, cheap trade value, great contract, but it's an expiring contract. Personally, I think it's got to be Lucas Dostal. He's on the trade block in Columbus, which makes a lot of sense. He's an 84 overall, 25 years of age, still another year on his contract after this season. He's a channel legend back in the Anaheim Ducks franchise mode in NHL 20. I think that his numbers in the NHL have been much more consistent, even though it's a smaller sample size. So Lucas Dostal is definitely the guy I want to go for. He's going to be challenging Ullmark for starts, maybe even be our eventual starter. So Columbus is not going to take a goalie back. That wouldn't make any sense. They're going to trade us Lucas Dostal. We have the salary cap space now that Ilya Samsonov Samsonov has been traded. And honestly, I see a couple options here. We could try and move Oscar Lindblom to the Blue Jackets here. And the trade value would probably just take a little bit more to get it done. Now, the Blue Jackets are a winning team right now, so I don't think that they'd be wanting to just take on picks. I think they'd want to take on a player as well. So I'm thinking, how about we trade Oscar Lindblom to the Columbus Blue Jackets in this deal? I'll take back some salary cap to make it work. I'll give you Lindblom and some picks, and that way you get value that will help you right now. So Lindblom, and let's try just a second round pick to make this happen. I think the trade value is there. It's just that Columbus can't do it at the moment because of the salary cap. Who can we take back? We could take, is Jeff Carter on expiring? Yeah, Jeff Carter, 41 years of age. There's some veteran presence for our bottom six, actually. So Oscar Lindblom and a second for Lucas Dostal and Jeff Carter. I like that. Could I take back a low pick as well? Couple 7th round picks, why not? Let's do this. Lindblom and a second for Dostal, Carter, and 2 7s. Trade rejected. Just 1 7th. There we go for a 7th round pick from Montreal. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in Columbus. So we are accepting your trade offer. Oscar Lindblom, a channel favorite, a franchise favorite. He was with us in Philadelphia. He was with us now in San Jose. He had an alternate captaincy to boot. It hurts to trade him, but we were keeping him for the special teams, and he just wasn't helping us in the special teams anymore. Last, when we first came, 37-point season, 53-point season, up to an 85 overall. Last year, back to 38. This year, on pace for 12 points. Like, now, of course, he's going to tear it up in Columbus, but I think he just needs to change the scenery, and we free up some more salary cap space by moving on from him. Another $4 million. So, Oscar, wishing you all the best in Columbus. We now have Lucas Dostal in the system. That's something to be excited about. He hasn't been with us since his channel legend days with the Anaheim Ducks. So that's a great reunion almost 3 years later. And I think we'll stop there for the moment. I'm also considering the Brett Pesce trade, as we've been mentioning in the comments earlier. But I want to wait and see what the team and the coaching and the goaltending can kind of work out, if Rodin can get the kinks out of his game. If not, a trip to the AHL may be what's best for him. So I'm going to have to, I think it best lines everything, eh? Yeah, it did. So I'm going to have to fix up the lines a little bit here to get things how we want it to be. We'll simulate a little bit, and after a small sample size into the second half of the year before the deadline, we can make a final decision on the defense. Okay, that took an eternity. I hate whenever I have to redo all the special teams in this broken game, but here we go. Eklund, Hurdle, Drouin, Bushnevich, Bedard, Lucius, Cunnin, Glass, Couture, the same top 6. Cunnin now in the top 9 with Lindblom gone, and Jeff Carter will now get full-time minutes as a 4th liner, as we don't need to rely on Jonah Gadjevich anymore. So getting a better 13th forward down the road wouldn't be a bad idea, but at least now we have Carter to fill in the full-time slot. Defense, I'm going to try going Lindell, Bouchard, Rodin, Carlson. I never want to put 2 offensive D together, but they have the X factors, get the +2. And then Ferraro, Pickering on the 3rd pair. We'll see how those guys do. I don't know if some chemistry can kind of come together. And goaltending, Lucas Dostal will be getting the next start, backed up by Linus Ullmark, who is on a short leash at this time. So Samsonov and Lindblom out, Carter and Dostal in, as well as some draft picks. So we'll see how that does, and hopefully we get the goalie coach and all that other good stuff continues to mesh together. Happy to join the team. Thank you very much. NHL goalie coach is here. But hopefully we won't have to make another move for Brett Pesce. I wouldn't mind making it if we're kind of fringe, but if we can really just take off from now and we're good to go and Rodin's getting his ice time, that would be the best case scenario. But if we got to send him down for the good of the team, then that's what we're going to do. But here we are at the Shark Tank to begin the second half of this 4th season with the Sharks, taking on the 12, 19, and 10 Seattle Kraken. Let's hope we can get a little bit of good luck here and everyone can say, okay, the winds are changing here in San Jose. The tides are turning for in the Shark Tank. First period, 1-0 San Jose. It's Luke Cunnin shorthanded. All right. I kind of overhauled the power play and penalty kills. I'm not sure if they're exactly the same what I did at the end of the first half, but I just threw some new stuff together and hopefully it'll mesh. Second period, 2-0, Rodin, there he is, his 5th of the season. He knows that he could be getting sent down. He wants to stick around. He scores a big goal, I think his first ever of a slow sim game. 2-0 Sharks after 40. We're being outshot 32-30, but we're hanging on tight. Halfway through this 3rd period, don't want to jinx anything just yet. Oh my goodness, 5 minutes ago, power play Sharks to seal it. Killed off by the Kraken. And there you go. Oh, Logan Couture, the captain, as an empty netter. And Lucas Dostal registers a 40-save shutout in his San Jose Sharks debut. See, 40 shots against, Samsonov would have been allowing 4 goals there, at least. So we would have lost 4-2. If we're only scoring 2 goals, we need the goaltending to come through. Just our 4th shutout of the season. The first not to Allmark. A goal and assist from Cunnin. There's the game winner. Couture, goal and an assist. 40-save shutout from channel legend Lucas Dostal. We got to find some sort of nickname for this guy, but we could not have asked for a better start to this second half of the season. And it's not as many years as I'm looking for. Okay, goodbye AHL associate coach. Forget it. We have the NHL goalie coach, and that's all that really matters. So now the Avalanche are on like an 10 or 11 game winning streak. They're 28-9-5. We're playing them in Colorado, so that's not going to be easy. So Dostal, you in there, buddy? Yes, you are. Let's get him back in for another one. Coming off a shutout in his San Jose Sharks debut, but we got to score more than 2 goals. We had one shorthanded goal from Cunnin. We had a defenseman pitch in. Top 6, I want to see you in there. Here we go, in Colorado. First period action, 2-1 Avalanche. Jonathan Drouin opens it up. Olason scores the first goal that Dostal allows in 70 minutes or 69 minutes and 45 seconds as a Shark. And then Bocage gets another 3 minutes after that. We're down 2-1 after 20. Second period, 3-3 game. Newhook makes it 3-1. But then Esa Lindell, and it's against Kakkonen. Of course it's against Kakkonen, our former starting goaltender. Lindell makes it a 1-goal game. And then Connor Bedard, thank you very much. Tie game. Shots are 22-17 for Colorado, but we're all tied up at 3 after 40. Power play Sharks to start the period. 5-on-3 killed off by the Avalanche. Power play Avalanche, and of course now Rantanen scores. 4-3 Avalanche. 12 minutes to go. We're down by 1. We're down by 2. We can get back in here. Let's go. And there it is. William Eklund tying this game at 4. That's just what we needed. With 6 minutes left now, we're being outshot 33-26. We're tied at 4, but Rantanen is second of the period. Final minute. Any late heroics to tie it? No. 5 goals. But again, we can't keep getting 40 shots against per night. 2 goals for Rantanen, as Dostal allows 5 goals on 38 shots, I think. Not his greatest performance, but come on, boys. We can't be allowing that many shots. So, all that being said, let's get into some calendar simulation now. I'm going to keep the auto goalie rotate turned off because I want Dostal to keep starting. But before we make any more big decisions, let's get another couple of weeks or so of simulation under our belts, and then we can be a bit more informed. Couple of games beyond regulation as we lose in the shootout against Minnesota, but then win in the shootout against Tampa Bay. 3-2 both those scores. 5-4, close game there against the Kings as we beat a division rival. The Oilers, we beat them 5-3 in Edmonton. Arizona Coyotes at home, we lose 6-3. Yikes. And last game here against the Maple Leafs on the road, we lose 5-3. Bruins, then Devils. Let's just do 2 more. We have like a week off, so let's get a little bit of relaxation in. All right, 3-1 win and 3-2 overtime win. So we're 28-18-5, 6-3-1, I believe, in our last 10 games since we made those trades. All right, 6-3-1. I can take that. Not a horrible record. So 17-28-4 against the Buffalo Sabres. Then a big game against Tampa Bay. We'll sim through the game against Buffalo. Dostal will play against the Lightning. I'm going to try Allmark against the Islanders. 4-2 win against Buffalo. Big game there. And we're going to sim through this game against Tampa Bay. 28-18-6 are the Lightning. We lose 2-1. Good show there from Dostal. We're going to give him a break now against the Islanders, and Allmark will come in. He'll get his first start in a little while here in New York. So they are 5-4-1 in their last 10. We're looking for win number 30 on the season. Here we go. First period, 2-1 Sharks as Logan Couture opens up shorthanded. Boone Jenner ties it up, and then Jeff Carter. There's that veteran depth presence making it a 2-1 game. Second period, 3-1. Gracias Jonathan Drouin on the power play. We're up by 2 here in the third period. Out shooting the Islanders 26-21. Power play Islanders killed off. Power play for the Sharks killed off by the Islanders. Halfway through the third, Connor Bedard makes it a 3-goal game. Let's call it there. 4-1 the final. Shots and 38-25. Linus Ullmark, you know what? I'm happy. Second star honors. 24 saves from him. Good to see a little bit of a bounce back after he sat for the last, 11 games or so. I'm going to give another start to Ullmark, or at least a couple. Then we'll go back to Dostal as he's been doing very well. 3-2 loss. I'll give him this one more game against the Wild on the road. 4-1 win. Okay, you know what? One more. You earned yourself another start. He gets us the win on the road. Now we're at home to take on the Maple Leafs. And that's a 1-0 loss. Come on. Only allowing 1 goal. We got to support the goaltender, boys. Let's go. New Jersey, I'll give you another start, Linus, for all that hard work. Only allowing 1 against Toronto. 3-2 loss. All right. Not the losses that's going to make me pull out Allmark, but I want to see more from Dostal. I think it's also a decent time to pause and see how the team's been doing. Especially, let's see Dostal since he came over here to San Jose. 12 games played, 7-4-1 with a shutout, 904, 2.81 goals against. I'll take that. Let's see what's up for Jeff Carter here down on the fourth line. He looks like he's doing all right. 41 years of age. In 17 games, he has 5 points as a fourth liner, -1. Only getting, what, like 8.5 minutes of ice time per night. I like that from Jeff Carter. Cunnin, what's up with you? 11 and 12. I'd almost bump Carter up. But it's the defense that I really want to see here. Lindell plus 24. Wow. Bouchard -1. Rodin -11. Carlson plus 7. Ferraro plus 6. And Pickering plus 7. I'm going to try Carlson back to the top pair. Let's go Rodin and Ferraro on the second. And Pickering and Bouchard on the third. I don't know. Let's just try and mix things up over here. The plus minuses aren't doing a lot for me. Ferraro is a great plus minus. Maybe playing Rodin with Lindell is the key, actually. And Rodin and Carlson get a +5. That's hard to ignore. Let's try Lindell, Ferraro. Yeah. Rodin, Carlson. Let's give a few games to Rodin, Carlson, and a +5. Let's go like 3 games like that. Or even just 2, because the trade deadline for real now is around the corner. We'll go Buffalo and Ottawa. 3-2 loss against the Sabres, who are a very bad team, actually. And then we beat the Senators 5-3. And you know what? I'll hop into this one. Let's go one more game. It was one good performance, one not so good performance, maybe. Let's see. The Canadiens are a very similar team to us in terms of their record. Let's go. First period, 0-0. Second period, 0-0. Third period, we're out shooting Montreal 24-19. Power play Habs to start it off. Nick Suzuki power play goal. No scoring. That's why. Is it really the defense or is it the scoring? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, there's 2-0. All right, let's just call it. We get shut out 2-0 by who was between the pipes here for the Canadiens. Let me guess, like Caden Primo at an 81 overall. Shutout for Freddie Anderson. All right. It's a really tough situation right now. Is it the scoring that's lacking? Is it the defense that's not doing what it has to? Is it the goaltending that's still a bit porous? It just feels like we're not a solid team. That's making me feel a bit like, I feel scrambled. I feel like my thoughts are all over the place right now. I'm going to be editing this episode and thinking like, what am I talking about? The amount of times where I'm just talking to myself, stumbling over my words, it's like, I don't know what to think even. So as a team, we are 13th best in the NHL. What are we scoring? We're scoring 3.25 and allowing 3.02 per game. That feels weird. I don't feel like that number is really representative. 14.1% on the power play, which is closer to the bottom than the top. And the penalty kill at 79.2. Oh, man, the second worst penalty kill in the NHL? Come on. Maybe we need to get a better special teams forward. Some like really good penalty killer for the third line. And then like Noah Gregor bumps out maybe. I'm going to do some due diligence because the defense, I'm still not sold on the defense. Like Brett Pesce, the Canadiens are a winning team. Why would they want to trade Brett Pesce? They're a top 10 team in the NHL. It makes sense to acquire Brett Pesce, but it wouldn't make sense for the Canadiens to trade him. So that's why I think I'm going to hold off on that. It's more I'm going to look for a good defensive forward that we can acquire. So I've done my research and I think I found the perfect match. Cole Lind over on the Seattle Kraken. He's on the block. The Kraken they were very much a losing team. Now they're a 500 team. There's seller status. I don't think they'll make the postseason. And he's cheap as well. A lot of the other players that I was looking at were costing a lot of money. It would have been a difficult juggling of contracts. Cole Lind, $1.785 million, expiring contract. He's an 85 overall, and he has 4-star defense, 87 awareness, 85 shot blocking, 89 stick checking. I understand he's a -10, but he's not on a very good team. I would think you put him on the third line and on the penalty kill, and he would help us tremendously. If I reset the filters and I said just any winger who is a good two-way forward with 1 or 2 years left on their contract, you get all kinds of players. Stone, Kako, Terry. Like, it would be fun to acquire some of these guys, but then there's the trade value question, and there's the juggling of contracts question. Yes, maybe we could trade out Marc-Edouard Vlasic to make the salary cap space, but then we still would have to trade a couple of those second-round picks. I don't know. Already it's going to cost a bit to get Cole Lind. Would it really make sense to have a guy like Troy Terry on our third line? It's got to be someone that really fits the bill as well. So that's why I'm thinking kind of like that max 85 overall range. And it has to be on a team that is not performing very well, and preferably a player on the trade block. So I think Cole Lind really does make a lot of sense. There are some other good options at lower overalls, but Cole Lind is the guy who's speaking to me here. So for Cole Lind, we have some seconds, we have some thirds. I think a second and a third would be a pretty fair offer for a player that's looking to trade around the deadline. It's the second that we got from Calgary in the Samsonov trade, and then we move a third-round pick of our own. What do you say about this, Seattle? Too far off? Okay, understandable. I can add a little bit more. We have a couple fourth-round picks. I could throw one of our own fourths. So Montreal second, then our own third and fourth. All right, sounds like a fair deal to me. Thank you, Seattle. We'll see you out on the ice. So Cole Lind, welcome to the team. That'll be the forward help we need within the top 9. And although some defensemen are tempting, I think I'm going to try and roll with the defense that we have. It's a bit risky. The plus minuses aren't horrible. We just need some more scoring out here. So let me fix up the lines again, and then we'll keep on going to the end of the year. All right, so there we go. Cole Lind, welcome to the organization, Bello. You will play third line right wing with Cody Glass and Logan Couture, as well as first unit penalty kill. I also changed up the lines a little bit. Hurdle and Drouin will drop back to the second. Eklund, Bedard, and Bushnevich will be our first line. Bedard needed to wake up a little bit, I think, at the start of the year. He's been performing very well. He's leading the team in points. Let's try him back with a little bit more ice time and responsibility. So here, last game for the trade deadline, here against the Flyers, who are 32, 24, and 5. Identical record to ours, but they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. We're 4-6-0. Let's get back on the horse here with a couple of wins, well, after a couple of losses, excuse me. First period, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. Travis Sanheim on the power play. Second period, 2-0 Cutter Gauthier. We're out shooting Philadelphia 17-15. There, Erik Karlsson, thank you very much, puts us on the board. We're down by 1. Power play Philly, we kill that off. Power play San Jose now, and we can take a penalty while we're on it. Power play Philly killed off. All right, less than half to go in the third period. Still down by 1. It's the scoring. We need to get some scoring. I don't know what to do more than +3. We have 87s, 88s, 90s. I don't get why the goals are not coming. And you can't blame the goaltending or the defense on these 2-1, 3-2 losses, stuff like that. Ridiculous. Really ridiculous. But we have our team now. We're set. Let's keep on simulating. Like I said, it was tempting to think about going out and getting a defenseman, but it's money-wise, it's trade value-wise, it's organizationally. We have it. It's a logjam. Kniazev's just waiting to come into the lineup as well. Rodin's been doing all right. We haven't been getting blown out of the water. These 3-2, 2-0, 1-0, 2-1 losses. I don't think that's the issue. I think it would be probably picking up a forward, and that's what we did in Cole Lind. All right, big 7-1 win after the trade deadline. There's the offense, followed by a 3-1 loss. And if we want to see some other trades around the NHL, we see Drew Doughty going to the Nashville Predators, Dvorak to the Maple Leafs, Carrier to Vegas, Sam Steele to Montreal, Hronik to Calgary, Tyler Bertuzzi to Florida, Boone Jenner to Toronto, Oliver Bjorkstrand to Arizona, Hampus Lindholm to LA, Strome to Florida, Spencer Knight to Seattle. They're a losing team looking to sell, and they pick up Spencer Knight? For Strome, a third and a fourth. Okay, goaltending trade value is just odd. I don't know what to tell you. And Gurionov to Buffalo. We were thinking about getting Gurionov. He would have been a good scoring third-line left winger, but I thought Cole Lind would make more sense for the penalty kill help. So we're locked into this squad. Let's get to the end of the season now. It's been a long enough episode with these comments, with these trade decisions. I don't know how long we're at, but personally I've been sitting here for way too long. Strained hamstring for Logan Couture, lovely. It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't take a millennia to try and just do some line changes whenever there's an injury. Substitute in all lines. Oh wait, it said all lines, but that's not actually all lines. Gotta go do the power play. Like, it makes it really discouraging to even play with injuries turned on, with how much of a headache it is to replace for these minor injuries. And then you come back out and the calendar's glitched every time. You gotta stop the simulation, restart where you want to simulate to, simulate again. Then he's gonna be back in a few days. 6-4 win against the Ducks, at least there's that. 9-3 win against the Kings. There's some offense in the last few games. Marcus Niemelainen on waivers, 79 overall defenseman. No, that's not what we need right now. Dallas Stars, they're a winning team, 37-24-5. They beat us 4-1. Okay, that's down in the AHL. Vancouver's 41-22-6. We beat them 4-1. There we go. Our biggest rival in the Pacific, as they're still above us for first spot in the division. Logan Couture is back in the lineup. You know what I just realized? Since Oscar Lindblom left, we'd never established a new alternate captain. So I gotta pause anyways with the calendar glitch. 2-1 shootout loss against the Chicago Blackhawks. So we've got Captain Logan Couture. I forget, was it Hurdle and Lindblom as the alternates before? Now it's given it to Hurdle and Carlson, which I think would make sense for us. I totally forget who didn't have the A last time, but you know what? The computer got this one right. We're going to go Captain Couture and alternates Hurdle and Carlson moving forward, at least for the rest of this season. Continuing to simulate, there's some of the offense we've been looking for. Sebastian Aho on waivers. Wow! Oh, wrong one. The 79 overall offensive defenseman, not the Sebastian Aho you were thinking. Decline that. Big 5-1 win followed by a 5-3 loss. We gotta be more consistent. 4-1 loss, 4-1 win. 5-1 win, 5-3 loss. 4-3 shootout loss to our rivals, the Vancouver Canucks. They got that extra point over us. The Predators shut us out 2-0. Winnipeg beats us 5-3. Mild concussion for Mario Ferraro. That means Kniazev will draw into the lineup now. Still tough plus minuses here. Rodin -12. Like, I don't know what to say. Let's try going back. Lindell, I guess. Lindell, Carlson, Rodin with Pickering. Do we do Pickering? Give him a little extra ice time. He's been doing well this year in his rookie season. 1 goal, 12 assists, plus 16. Why not? Let's try that as the deep pairs while Mario Ferraro is out. 5-3 loss against the Jets. 2-1 loss against the Coyotes. Come on. Dostal's playing a lot here. It's because I don't want to turn on auto goalie rotate or else Ullmark will get all the starts. Seattle Kraken followed by the Edmonton Oilers here. We lose 3-2 in overtime. Let's keep something a little bit here. Let's give Kniazev some games here. 5-1 win against the Oilers. Head coach can do that down in the AHL. St. Louis, 41 win team. We lose 3-2 against them. Tight games here. Where are we looking in terms of a playoff spot right now? 38 wins, getting a bit scary. Lindell pulled groin. Oh my goodness. You know what? Ferraro's just going top pair then. Top pair. Ferraro's going to play with Carlson. Rodin -13 now. Oh, you just can't win with these deep pairs. Cannot win. Rodin is like a black hole right now. 5-1 loss against the Predators. Let's go last couple of games here. Rangers, Blue Jackets, and then at home to take on the Ducks. Can we get to 40 wins? 3-2 shootout win against the Rangers. Thank goodness. We're at 39. The playoffs are not guaranteed right now. Minnesota, St. Louis, San Jose, Anaheim, Edmonton. We're all pushing for a spot. We need to win these last 2 games. It would be a catastrophe if we miss out on the postseason right now. Ferraro's been great. I'm going to keep him. Carlson's still amazing. Rodin, I'm putting you third pair, and it's going to go, we're going to go Kniazev, Bouchard on the second. Pickering, Rodin's coming out. Rodin's coming out from Mark-Edward Vlasic. Let's do it. We need to win these last couple of games, and Rodin, you're not giving us the opportunity to win right now. Dostal, you've been good, but Ullmark, I'm going to give Ullmark a start. In the past, it's worked to give him a start. He's been needed. You know, he sits, then he comes back, and he wins one. I'm going to give him the second to last game of the season here against Columbus, the team that we got Lucas Dostal from, so he's not starting this one. They're, can't let him, maybe they want to get in his head or something. Let's keep him on the bench. We're 2-6-2 in our last 10. First period, 2-1 Blue Jackets. Lucius scores for us. Of course, Oscar Lindblom scores against us, the guy who's on pace for 4 goals. Second period, 2-2. Connor Bedard ties it up on Charlie Lindgren. Let's go. Third period. We just need one to get a little bit of momentum here. 2-2 game. Power play Columbus. We kill it off. Very good. Being outshot 28-22 as Denton Matejchuk makes it 3-2 Blue Jackets. Power play Sharks killed off as we take a penalty during it. 5 minutes to go. We need a goal, and Logan Couture, the captain, comes through. There's some poise from the veteran. 3-3 game with 2 minutes to go. At least get it to overtime. Thank goodness. Shots 33-28. I would go in and watch, but this episode's already been long enough, so let's head into overtime. Tie game. At least we got that point, but I would love to get one more. Here in 3-on-3 overtime action, nothing comes from it. Shots end 36-31. Shootout victory for the Blue Jackets. Goudreau, Halton, and Lucius and Bushnevich score for us. We do get 1 point out of that game, though. We do get 1 point. Where does that put us now in the playoff picture? We do clinch a spot. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank goodness for that. Bedard I don't know, what happened to Bedard? 72 points. Not a bad season, but 90 overall in that first line with that X factor and the chemistry. Would have been expecting more. There's still 1 game left in the season, and we're going to get Lucas Dostal between the pipes for that. Thank you, Ullmark, for doing decently well. But Lucas Dostal will get the final start of the season, as he'll likely be our full-time starter in the postseason, at least to begin the postseason. The Ducks are 38, 35, and 7. They're right behind us in the Pacific, but they won't be catching up to us. It was a very tight season, and we want to at least end it off on a high note here, at home in the Shark Tank. First period, 2-0 Ducks. Beautiful. Second period, Logan Couture gets us back in. Is this the guy the only one who has passion out here? Down by 1 in the third period. Thank you, Logan Couture, for bringing us back in, giving us some life. Who wants to add on to it? William Eklund, Bushnevich, Lucius, you guys top 6? Maybe anybody want to score a goal? No. Let's not even get shots on net. We have 20 shots after 55 minutes. No, who needs it? No scoring in the third period, and we lose 2-1 in the final game of the year. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. What is the issue? Some days it's the goaltending and the defense. Some days the scoring is non-existent. Like, let's look at the scoring after this season. Esa Lindell fully healed, thank goodness. But what happened this year? Did everyone play their 82nd game? We barely squeezed into the playoffs, just squeaking by. Like, we had guys like, Bedard was on pace for 80-plus points. Hertl was on pace for, I think, 70-some points. What happened out here? Bushnevich ends with 69, Drouin 66, that's great. Hertl 65, Lucius 60, that's great. But then why aren't we having success? In his sophomore season, 63 points from Lucius, I'm really happy to see that. Eklund 54, I think that's a huge disappointment. First line minutes, over almost 21 minutes a night. And he scores 54 after last season scoring 69. Erik Karlsson 53, still doing his best at the age of 35. Logan Couture did okay, especially in a third-line role. 49 points from him, more goals than Eklund. Cole Lind, what did he do in his time here in San Jose? Wow! 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points, and a plus 10 in 21 games. That was a good acquisition for us, yet we still barely squeaked in. Cody Glass, 41 points as third-line center. Good job. Cunnin, 28. Bouchard, 23 and a plus 4. Jeff Carter, he was a surprising revelation for us as well. 10 points in 41 games as a fourth-liner. I'll take it. On pace for a 20-point season. Ferraro, 20 points plus 9. Lindell, 19 plus 27. Reedy, 16 points and a negative 19. Rodin, 15 points, negative 13. Pickering, plus 14. Gregor, negative 9. Kniazev, 3 assists, plus 2. Vlasic, 2 games, plus 1. I don't know what to say. It's like the whole team was great, and then you have plus minuses of negative 19, 13, 9, negative 4 from Eklund, despite being on the first line. It's disgusting. And goaltending. And Linus Ullmark ends with a record of 17, 12, and 5. 3 shutouts, 901 save percentage, 2.9 goals against average. And Lucas Dostal, becoming our starter, in 35 games goes 15, 15, and 4. Tough record, yet he had a 906 save percentage and 2.68 goals against average, which was way better than like the 875 that we were getting from Samsonov and Ullmark prior to Dostal coming in. So for the team that he had and the defense in front of him, I'm okay with Lucas Dostal getting those numbers. We didn't even look at the teams yet because I was just itching to look at what the forwards had done. I was just flabbergasted by what took place. The Flyers with the 12th place finish don't make the postseason, but us down in 18th, thank goodness, we're the second to last team to make it in, as Chicago also makes the postseason. 39, 34, and 9 the record. We scored 3.16 per game, allowed 2.93. Power play went down to 12.9%. Like, I did so many changes to the special teams. Was it just the head coach? I don't know. I'm more inclined to think that it was the head coach than anything, because we tried different players, different combinations, different line chemistry, making trades. Nothing worked. It has to be the coach. Penalty kill ends at 83.3%, which was an improvement on where we were since we picked up Cole Lind, so that's good. But I'm just really disappointed in what we saw this season. Do I need to fire the coach headed into the postseason even? Speaking of the postseason, our opponent in round number 1 will be the Edmonton Oilers. All right, the Oilers went 40, 32, and 10 on the season, 4, 3, and 3 in their last 10 games. Of course, we know Edmonton. We faced them in the postseason before. McDavid, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi at an 87, Evander Kane, Nugent Hopkins, great top 6, scary top 9, 86 overall, Dylan Holloway. Defense, they have Nurse, pretty much the only guy there, but the rest of the team isn't too shabby. And goaltending is 85 overall, Jack Campbell. And of course, how could I have forgotten? We got to check out Oscar Lindblom and Ilya Samsonov. Of course, Lindblom was probably on a 30-goal pace, and Samsonov probably had a 950 save percentage. Lindblom, where are you, buddy? He was on pace for 4 goals and 12 points. He scores 25 points on the season. What did he do on Columbus? 42 games, 11 goals, 8 assists, 19 points. So essentially on a pace of 22 goals and like 38 to 40 points in Columbus, while he was on pace for 4 goals and 12 points with us. He was playing on the third line with them. Hey, exact same as us. He was playing third line and PK1. With Columbus, he's playing third line, PK3, and power play 2. He was shooting like 14%, right? Yeah, 14.3%. Crazy shooting percentage. With us, 4.4. He had 6 power play points. Whatever, man. Whatever. And let's, just icing on the cake, let's see Samsonov's Vezina numbers with Calgary after he got traded there. Drum roll, please. Oh, don't tell me he didn't play. Did he have... Oh, the EA voodoo, of course. Why would you call up a goaltender that you traded for? See, this, it kind of makes me feel bad because they didn't get to use the piece that they traded for. They'll use him next season because Markstrom and Allen have expiring contracts. They'll use him next season. But right now, they sent him to the AHL, where he went 24-2 with 3 shutouts. So at least he had good numbers in the AHL. But I don't know. We'll see next season in the NHL if he can do it when he's Calgary's starting goaltender in 2026-27. Also, heading into the postseason, we can think about contract extensions, perhaps. I think it'll just be Lucius and Ferraro. I'm not sure how much money we have headed into next season. Even Cole Lind, if we wanted to keep him on. Yeah, we have 8.228 to play with. Cole Lind wouldn't be asking for too much, 3.9. Lucius right now wants 2x5 to stay as an RFA. And Mario Ferraro would be wanting 2x3. So that's not too shabby. 5, 8, we need like 11 million. We can clear up a bit more. Yeah, we could do that. I could see that working out. Yeah, all right. So I'll go ahead and end it off there. Do we need to make changes to the forwards, to the penalty kill, to the power play, the special teams? Fire the coach headed into the playoffs? I don't know what to do. This was a very frustrating episode. Like, behind the scenes, there was a lot of the injuries and the lines, the best lines, the glitching, exiting out of pages, having to reopen it. The amount of cuts that I've had to do, I can feel myself just tumbling over myself. We had a lot of good seasons. Lucius, Drouin, good surprises. Cole Lind was a great revelation. But Eklund, huge disappointment. Do we need to move him off the top line, perhaps? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts headed into the postseason, where we want to have a deep run, but I am not convinced at all with what we've been seeing on this team. The fourth line is going to need some changes. It's like I'm already looking forward to the changes we're going to be making for 2026-27. I already have changes in mind. But for the time being, we've made it to the big dance, and no one asks you how you got to the dance. They just want to see what you do on the dance floor. So looking forward to reading your thoughts down here on YouTube or over on the Discord server, link in the description. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to catch more franchise mode career simulation. Be sure to check out the Connor Bedard career simulation. It was a doozy. Please do leave a like for my sanity and my state of mind. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch and enjoy. Wishing you all the very best joy, health, and happiness headed into 2023. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.